our Bhagavad Srimad Bhagavatam overview. So we'll start our discussion with our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksharon Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Tapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानो सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Welcome everyone. So yesterday we had completed two chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we saw how Srimad Bhagavatam starts with the prelude of describing Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead, and then in second and third verses of first canto, first chapter, Shukdev Goswami, Vyasadeva is glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the highest scripture which rejects all the other cheating type of religion. So Vyasadeva invites the readers to taste this nectar, drink this nectar, Pibat Bhagavatam. And then we saw how the sages of Naimisharanya, they met, they were performing 1,000 years yajna, but they were not getting any results. So they went to Sut Goswami and they asked 6 questions, and these are the 6 questions which were asked by the sages. What is the ultimate goal? What is the essence of all the scriptures? What is the purpose of Krishna's appearance in this world? Please describe about the Purusha avatars. Please describe about the Leela avatars. And then where did religion take shelter after Krishna's disappearance from this material world? And we discussed how Sudha Goswami starts the description by telling that the ultimate good for people in general is to develop love of God, and the devotional service is the essence of all the scriptures. Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva paramaka, Vasudeva para yoga, Vasudeva kriya, parakriya, Vasudeva param jnanam, Vasudeva parantapa, Vasudeva paro dharmo, Vasudeva paragatihi. So Vasudeva is the essence of all the scriptures. So that is what was the answer of the second question. And the purpose of Krishna's appearance was, whenever Krishna appears, he appears to reclaim the fallen conditioned souls from this material world to back to the spiritual world. And then in the second chapter, in the last section of the second chapter, Sudha Goswami describes about the Purusha avatars. He describes about the Mahavishnu and Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Shirodakshay Vishnu also. And there he describes that the purpose of Lord's incarnation is to reclaim the fallen conditioned souls in this from this world to the spiritual world. So that was the end of the second chapter. And then in the third chapter again, Sudha Goswami continues the discussion of the Purusha avatars. He describes about the details of Purusha avatars, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Shirodakshay Vishnu. And then he says that this Garbhodakshay Vishnu is the source and the shelter of the various incarnations within this universe. So after this, Sutta Goswami starts a list of incarnations which are called Leela avatars. So Leela avatars are the various pastime incarnations of the Lord, which he performs in this world to attract the inhabitants of this material world back to the spiritual realm. So that is the purpose of these Leela avatars. And then Sudha Goswami says that these Leela avatars, they are innumerable. They are unlimited. But Sud Goswami mentions 22 prominent Leela avatars in this third chapter of the first canto. And he starts the description by describing about the Kumaras. There are 4 Kumaras, and then he describes Varahadev, Narada Muni, Naranarayan Rishi, Kapila Dev, Dattatreya, Yagya. Yagya is one of the incarnations of Krishna. Then he describes about Rishabhadev, Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj is the incarnation of the administrative potency of Krishna. He's a Shaktya Vesha avatar. Then he describes about Matsya avatar, Kurma, Dhanvantari, Mohini Murti, Narsimha, Vamana, Parshuram, Vyasadev, Ram, Krishna, Balaram, Gautam Buddha, not Gautam Buddha, the original Buddha, and then Kalki. So then after describing this, all these 22 incarnations, he says, Avatara hi asankhyeya hare sattva nidher dvija avatara hi asankhyeya. Just like there are innumerable waves in the ocean, there are unlimited incarnations of the Lord. And then he says the very, very powerful verse, which is the Paribhasha Sutra of this whole Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the Paribhasha Sutra? Paribhasha Sutra means based on this verse, you have to judge everything which is there in this Bhagavatam. If there is any discrepancy, we have to take this verse as our guideline. And what is that Paribhasha Sutra? Ete chamshkala pumsaha krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam hridayanti yuge yuge. So Sud Goswami says that Ete, all these 22 incarnations, these are either amsha or kala, portions or portions of the portions. But Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. And he appears in this world. Indrari Vyakulam Lokam. So Indrari Vyakulam Lokam means he appears in this world to destroy the enemies of Indra. So Jiva Goswami describes a list of things. He gives 10 points describing this Paribhasha Sutra. How we should understand that this is the prime Paribhasha definition of this whole Bhagavatam, that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So he gives various points. He says there is a consistent theme throughout Bhagavatam describing Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead. Then he says that if there is some discrepancy, you have to take this verse as the guideline, because there are some places in Bhagavatam where it is described that Lord Krishna went to meet Lord Vishnu. This is a story which comes in 10th canto. Based on this, some may say, oh, it seems that Vishnu is greater. No. This verse is the fundamental principle of whole Bhagavatam. Therefore, the word used is tu, Krishna's tu. Because in the list of 22 incarnations, Krishna has also come. Somebody may say, okay, Krishna is one of the incarnations. Sud Goswami is saying, no. Although Krishna is described as one of the incarnations, he is not one of the incarnations. He is not an avatar. He is an avatari from whom all the incarnations come. And there are many verses throughout Bhagavatam which support this verse, that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Fifth point is glorification of Krishna is the prime subject matter of this Bhagavatam. Krishna is glorified in all the cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. Other avatars may be glorified and described in detail in some of the cantos, but Krishna's glories are described in every canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are not going to the detail because there are details, innumerable details which are given by Jiva Goswami. Then he says, how we can understand that this is a prime verse? Because Krishna is the common interest. The topic of Krishna Katha is the common interest of all the speakers of Bhagavatam and all the audiences of Bhagavatam. There are various speakers in Bhagavatam. Sut Goswami, Shukdev Goswami, then Vidura, Maitreya, then Prithu Maharaj, then Narad Muni, then Brahmaji. Everybody is telling and glorifying Krishna's position. They want to hear more about Krishna. Vayam tuna vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame yaschrinotam rasagyanam swadu swadu pade pade. So the sages of Naimisharanya, they are saying, please glorify Krishna more and more. We are not satisfied. Parikshit Maharaj is saying, please keep on glorifying Krishna. Don't think I am being suffering from hunger and thirst. Maitreya, Vidura is telling to Maitreya, please glorify Krishna because this Krishna Katha purifies the heart. It purifies the polluted aim of life. Pibantiye bhagavata atmana katham kathamritam shravanaputeshu sambritam punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam vrajanti tacharana saroruhantikam. Pibanti, we have to drink this Krishna Katha, Bhagavata, from our ears. Kathamritam Shravanaputeshu. With our ear holes, we have to drink this Krishna Katha. It purifies our polluted aim of life. What is the polluted aim? We want to enjoy in this world till the last breath of our life. One time, Srila Prabhupada was on a morning walk and he met one old person. He was playing golf. So Prabhupada started talking to him and then he asked, so what do you do? He said, no, I am a retired person. I am spending my life and I spend my life playing this golf. So Prabhupada had a nice talk with him and then as he passed by, he told his disciple, just see, this is the condition of people of this world. Whole life this person has spent in working for his family, for his children, and now he is wasting his remaining time to put a ball in a hole. That is how people are completely engrossed. This is the polluted aim of life. Krishna Katha purifies this aim and takes us to hear the glories of Krishna and attain the highest destination of the spiritual world. Therefore, there are so many scriptures which describe that there is no name which is equal to Krishna. Krishna's name is the topmost. Form of Krishna is glorified in all throughout Bhagavatam. No midyate bravapushe tadidambaraya gunjavatam shiparipicchala sanmukhaya vanyasraje kavalavetrajushana venum lakshmashriye mridupade pashupangajaya. So all the gopis, they are glorifying the form of Krishna. We offer our obeisances unto this supreme personality who is having a peacock feather in his head, who is wearing golden garments. He is wearing a gunjamala and he is having very sweet smile on his face. So the beauty of Krishna, the consistent principle of glorification of Krishna, the principle of the highest interest of speaker and the audience, it all points to one thing: Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. So this first canto establishes Krishna's supremacy as a supreme personality of Godhead. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. So then after describing this was explained in the whole third chapter of this first canto. And then at the end of this third chapter, Sud Goswami answers the sixth and the last question of the sages. Where did religion take shelter after Krishna departed from this mortal plane? So the Sud Goswami says, Krishna made all these moral and spiritual principles in this material world, and then after that he went back to his abode. But he went to the spiritual world, but he left this Bhagavatam Purana. Krishna swadhamopagate dharmajnana divisah kalau nashta drishamesha Puran arka adhunoditah. So when Krishna went back to the spiritual world, he took dharma and jnana along with him. Bhagavatam dispels the darkness of Kali Yuga. Puran arka. So therefore, just as all of the incarnations of the Lord, they destroy the miscreants and establishes the principles of religion. Similarly, this book Bhagavatam, the incarnation of Krishna's Grantha, Grantha Avatar, It nourishes the hearts of the devotees. It destroys the materialistic demoniac conceptions in the heart of people, and it propagates pure bhakti. Therefore, the Sud Goswami, after telling this, he starts glorifying Bhagavatam. He says, Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Sammitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi. He says, Idam Bhagavatam Nama, this Bhagavata literature, Purana Brahma Samhitam, this describes this is the incarnation of Lord Krishna, Brahma Samhitam. Uttama Shloka Charitam, it describes the pastimes of Lord Krishna. And Chakar Bhagavan Rishi. And Vyasadeva, he wrote this Bhagavatam. Why? Nishreyasaya lokasya dhanyam swastyayanam mahat. Nishreyasaya, for the welfare of people in general, Vyasadeva, he wrote this pure dhanyam swasti ayanam mahat. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Then he says that this Bhagavatam is the cream of all the scriptures. Sarvedetihasanam saram saram samudritam. This Bhagavatam is the cream of all the scriptures. So therefore, this is Krishna himself. This is personification and avatar of Krishna. So therefore, then he said, Sud Goswami told all the sages. When Shukdev Goswami, he spoke Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, I was there. I heard that Bhagavatam with rapt attention. And by his mercy, I realized this Bhagavatam, and I shall now try to speak to you whatever I have realized it. So therefore, there are various paramparas in the Bhagavatam. We discussed yesterday also that Vyasadeva, he spoke to Shukdev Goswami, and Shukdev Goswami spoke to Parikshit Maharaj. Then, as Shukdev Goswami was speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, Sud Goswami was also there. So, Shukdev Goswami spoke to Sud Goswami also indirectly, and then Sud Goswami is speaking the same Bhagavatam to all the sages of Naimisharanya. So, therefore, all the sages, they are very, very eager to hear about Bhagavatam. So therefore, this is what we discussed, 6 questions. Basically, if you categorize these 6 questions, they are dealing with 3 things: Bhakti, Bhagavan, and Bhagavatam. So in these 3 questions, Sut Goswami described what is Bhakti, who is Bhagavan, and the position of Bhagavatam. So therefore, the purpose of reading Bhagavatam is we have to get attracted to Krishna. We have to buy this product of prema. So, when we go to Amazon, in Amazon, but first we see the price, how we buy, how we decide which product to buy. First we see the price, So Bhagavatam gives the price list. Okay, if you want to get this product, this is the price you have to pay. Then what we do in the Amazon, we see the reviews, reviews of the customers who have bought this product, and what are their reviews, are they satisfied? So Bhagavatam is filled with the reviews of the most satisfied customers of Bhagavatam. All the devotees of Bhagavatam, they are telling their own realizations, how they underwent lots of transformations, how this Bhagavatam purified themselves, and how they became liberated from this bondage of birth and death. So therefore, in this Bhagavatam, Krishna tells his own nature also. Krishna is, as Gauranga was saying once, that Krishna is supreme transcendental autocrat. You cannot demand Krishna, you protect me always. It is up to Krishna. Krishna protected Parikshit Maharaj when he was in the womb of his mother. He could have protected when he was cursed by Shringi, but Krishna did not do so. Neither Parikshit Maharaj demanded Krishna that please protect me. So Gauranga was saying that Krishna is supreme personality of unpredictability also. We have to learn to submit ourselves to the whims and fancies of the supreme transcendental autocrat. That is what Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching us. When people they discuss about gopis, the Rasa Leela pastimes, they don't understand to become a gopi is not a so easy proposal. They give up all their conceptions. Pati sutanvayat, bhratrabandhavat, ativilangyate, tachyutagata, gatividastavod, gita mohita, kitavayoshita, kastyajen nishi. They gave up their shyness. They gave up their family, children, husbands, moral values, chastity, everything to please Krishna. It is not so easy. So this Bhagavatam teaches us at least we should develop these aspirations to love Krishna, to serve Krishna. That is what Bhagavatam is teaching. So therefore, in the initial days in the our Krishna consciousness, bhakti was eating khichdi and halwa, bas maja hai. But that is just the beginning. It is not the end. Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam teaches that there is much more beyond eating khichdi and halwa. As somebody was speaking that there in the beginning few yatras in Krishna consciousness, they are free. Free means you get ecstasy free of cost without paying anything. You get a glimpse of what is bhakti. Later, you have to pay for it. You have to yearn and endeavor and be eager to get that taste. Because in due course of our practice, we commit aparadh, we commit offenses against devotees. So these are the 6 questions dealing with bhakti. Bhakti is the supreme paro dharma. This is the supreme dharma. Then Sut Goswami describes the stages from Shraddha to Prema. Then he describes Krishna to be the supreme personality, Etecha Amshkala Pumsa. He describes about the avatars, Purushavatas and Leela avatars. And then he describes that Bhagavatam is Grantha of Krishna. Then after this, the 4th chapter starts, where there are 4 questions which are raised by all the Shaunakadi rishis again. So in a typical Bhagavatam scenario, when the class is over, so the sages they asked 6 questions, and the 6 questions were answered. So now if it has already lasted for full 3 chapters. So in a typical Bhagavatam class, if in the temple the Bhagavatam class from 8:15 to 9:15, then after 9:15, if the speaker asks any questions and if somebody raises hand, then many times devotees look at him as if you want to ask something, ask in private. Why are you troubling us? So the sages, they were very, very eager. They did not say, "Arey bas ho gaya abhi, samajh liya, 6 question पूछे, 6 question का answer मिल गया, I am satisfied." No. When they heard about Bhagavatam, the glories of Bhagavatam, when Sudha Goswami said that I heard Bhagavatam directly from Shukdev Goswami, they became more and more eager. One time, Radha Govind Maharaj was giving a class in one of the villages, and after the class was going on for 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 2 hours passed by. So in villages, they have a tradition that nobody should get up in between of a katha. So after 2 hours, Maharaj asked, it was in Hindi, so Maharaj asked, "Kisi ko kuch prashna hai?" So one person raised his hand. So then Maharaj said, "हाँ, क्या प्रश्न है आपको?" Then that person said, "Maharaj, एक ही प्रश्न है, ये कथा खत्म कब होगी?" So that was the only question he had. Waiting to when this class will end. The sages of Naimisharanya, they were not in that mood. When they heard the glories of Bhagavatam, immediately they became more and more eager and inquisitive to hear about Bhagavatam. So in this 4th chapter, Vyasadeva says that the Shaunak Rishi, he was the leader of all the assembly of the sages. He had few qualities. Muninam Dirgha Satrinam. He was Muni Dirgha Satrinam. When all the sages, they were doing tapasya for many, many thousands of years, they had started. They chose Shaunak Rishi. Why did they choose Shaunak Rishi? Vriddha Kulpati Suta Bahavricha Shaunako Abravit. So the Suta Goswami, he was, This Shaunak Rishi, he was Bahuvricha, he was elderly, he was learned, he was very submissive person. So therefore, he is qualified to be the leader of the whole assembly. So these are the qualities of Shaunak Rishi to become the leader of the assembly. So Shaunak Rishi, he starts asking question again. Suta Suta Mahabhaga Vadano Vadatamvara Katham Bhagavatim Punyam Yadaha Bhagavan Shukaha. Suta Suta. So he's speaking one word two times. Suta Suta. Why? Out of ecstasy, after a nice class, the devotees, when they are very happy, wow, wow, sadhu, 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 what a question, what a class. So Shaunak Rishi is in ecstasy. He's saying, Suta, Suta, Mahabhaga, you are most fortunate one. Vadano Vadatam Varaha, you are the best of all the speakers. That's the way you have to glorify and encourage the speaker. Katham Bhagavatim Punyam, please narrate the pious narration of Srimad Bhagavatam as it was spoken by Shukdev Goswami. So then, Shaunak Rishi, he asks 4 questions. He says, first, please tell us when, where, and by whose inspiration was this Bhagavatam compiled by Vyasadeva? This is the first question. When, where, and by whose inspiration this Bhagavatam was compiled? Second, they ask about Shukdev Goswami. And Shukdev Goswami is such a very interesting character. Shukdev Goswami, when he was in the womb of his mother, Shukdev Goswami is the son of Vyasadeva. Shukdev Goswami was a liberated sage. Even in the womb of his mother, he was not ready to come out. 16 years he was in the womb of his mother. And father and the mother, they were getting worried. So Vyasadeva, he asked that child in the womb, why you are not coming out? So Shukdev Goswami replied from within the womb, I am fearful of the Maya of Krishna. Maya of the Supreme Lord is very powerful. If I'll come out, I'll get trapped by the material energy of the Lord. So Vyasadeva said, okay, don't worry. He went to Krishna, he brought Krishna, because Krishna is Yogeshwara. He is the Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Material nature is working under him. He brought Krishna, he told Krishna, oh Krishna, please you give assurance to my child that your material energy will not affect him. So Krishna mercifully came, he gave assurance, and by his assurance, after his assurance only, Shukdev Goswami came out of the womb. And as he came out of the womb of his mother, he did not wait. Dressed in 4 directions, completely naked, he walked off. So therefore, the sages of this Shaunak Rishi, he is asking about Shukdev Goswami. Tasya putro mahayogi samdrin nirvikalpakaha ekantamatirunnidro gudho mudha iveyati. Tasya putro, the son of Vyasadeva, was a mahayogi, was a great yogi. Samdrin nirvikalpakaha, he was equi-balanced monist. Ekantamati unnidro, his mind was completely absorbed in monism. Unnidra means he was transcendental to mundane activities. He was looking as if he was a dull person. When the Shukdev Goswami just left the home, he was walking completely naked. There were few ladies who were taking bath without clothes. Shukdev Goswami, 16 years old young man. These ladies were also young, they were not wearing anything. Shukdev Goswami just passed by, was looking in all the directions. Vyasadeva started following, he was calling, oh son, please stay for some time, don't go now. But Shukdev Goswami did not stop. Vyasadeva is running behind his son. And as the ladies, they see that Vyasadeva, who was the age of their grandfather, he is coming, they started covering themselves. Vyasadeva, when he saw this scene, he became disturbed and bewildered. Arey, what is this happening? My son, young man, 16 years old boy, is not wearing anything. He's looking in all the directions, but still you did not care to cover yourself. and I am not even looking at your direction. I am the age of your grandfather, but still you are covering yourself. What is this happening? So, so the ladies, they say, your son does not make any difference between male and female. You know, he is Vikta Drishte. He has an equipoised vision. So therefore, he is not affected by things of this world. So therefore, Sut Goswami, Shaunak Rishi asks, so the person who is of this caliber, he is walking by and he is not wearing anything. He looks like a dumb man. When he entered Hastinapur, when Parikshit Maharaj, he decided to give up his body by fasting on the bank of Ganga, Shukdev Goswami came. How was third question? How is this? So the second question about Shukdev Goswami is, how was Shukdev Goswami recognized by the residents of Hastinapur? Third question they ask, that Shukdev Goswami, he does not stay at a place for more than a muhurat. Sa godohanam matram, he godohan, till the time the cow is being milked, that would last for one muhurat. He would stay at somebody's place, then he would take some milk and then he would leave. How is it that the person who would not stay more than 48 minutes at a place, he stayed for 7 days at one place? How is this meeting? How this meeting happened? How Shukdev Goswami met Parikshit Maharaj? This is the third question. Fourth question they ask, please tell us about the birth, activities and renunciation of King Parikshit. Abhimanyu sutam suta prahur bhagavatottama tasya janma mahascharyam karmani cha grinihina. Abhimanyu sutam, the son of Abhimanyu, O Suta Goswami, the son of Abhimanyu, he is described as Bhagavat Uttama. He is a pure devotee of the Lord. Tasya janma mahascharyam, his birth is glorious. Karmani cha grinihina, his activities are glorious. How his birth is glorious? It will be described in that 12th chapter. He was protected by Krishna in the womb. How his activities are glorious? He chastised Kali personified. So the sages, they say, such a great devotee of the Lord, why did he give up his own whole kingdom? At the peak of his youth, he gave up his whole kingdom. He went to the bank of the Ganga and he started fasting. All the kings of all the world, they would come, they would offer their helmets at the feet of Parikshit Maharaj. This Parikshit Maharaj was taking care of the citizens so very nicely. But then why did he give up his kingdom? Why did he leave this world? Why did he take sannyas? Namanti yat padaniketam atmanaha shivaya hani adhanani shatravah katham savira shriyamanga dustyajam yuvaishatot srashtumaho sahasubhi. So Shaunak Rishi says, why katham saviraha? Why did Parikshit Maharaj was such a strong person? He had all the opulence, he was wealthy, youthful, he had everything under his control. Why did he give up that most difficult thing of his family, kingdom? Why? Yuvae shatot srashtumaho sahasubhi. He gave up everything. Why did he give up everything? Because Parikshit Maharaj, when he was ruling, his rule was giving for the welfare. His rule for the welfare of everyone. He was not living for himself. He was living for people in general. Why did he give up this responsible post? Jivanti na atmartham. He was not living for himself. He was living for others. Asau parashrayam. He was living for others. Why did he give up his body? So these 4 questions of Shaunakadi Rishis, the answer to these questions, they form the rest of the first canto. So now the 4th chapter, now Sut Goswami, after hearing all this, he starts giving answer to the first question, the history of Bhagavatam. When how and where this Bhagavatam was written. So Sud Goswami describes that Vyasadeva, he was born of Satyavati. He was performing his meditation on the bank of Saraswati. Vyasadeva, he was a very powerful sage. Paravaragya Sarishi Kalena Vyaktaramhasa Yugdharma Virtikaram Praptam Bhuvi Yuge Yuge. Paravaragya. Vyasadeva, he knew everything of this world and of the other world. He had a vision by which he could see the future also. Therefore, he saw the anomalies of Kali Yuga. He saw that people of Kali Yuga, they would have a very short life. For the compassion for people in general of Kali Yuga, he thought, because he saw Bhautika Nam cha Bhavanam Shakti Rasam. He saw that people of Kali Yuga, they will have less strength, they will be faithless, they will be unfortunate, they will not live a long life. Muni Vyasadeva, he could see all this by his divine vision. Munir Divyen Chakshusha. Divya Chakshu means by his divine vision, he could see that people of Kali Yuga, they will be unfortunate, they'll be very, very fatigued, easily fatigued, faithless, impatient, they will have short life. So, for the welfare of these Kali Yuga people, Vyasadeva, he decided to compile, to write all the Vedas. So earlier, before Kali Yuga, all the Vedas, they were not in written form. They were there existing since the time of creation, but they were just heard. That's why they are called Shruti. Shruti means heard. But when Vyasadeva, he saw that people of Kali Yuga, they will not be able to remember anything for long. And all of us have this experience. We don't even remember what we ate day before yesterday in the dinner. It is difficult. We have to scratch our head. Kya khaya tha, yaad nahi aa raha hai. So that is our condition. So therefore, Vyasadeva, he knew all this. So he wrote all the Vedas. Then he thought that if I give everything in one, whole thing as a whole, one thing, they'll not be able to understand. So he divided the Vedas into 4 simpler, more accessible Vedas. And then he also wrote Puranas. He wrote Mahabharata. Then he entrusted different sections of his writings to his expert disciples. So Rig Veda he gave to Paila Rishi. Samaved he gave to Jaimini. Yajurved he gave to Vaishampayan. Atharvaved he gave to Angira Rishi. And all the Puranas he taught. He gave means he taught all of them. He taught to Roma Harshan Suta. Who is Roma Harshan Suta? Roma Harshan Suta is the father of Suta Goswami. So therefore, a devotee is very, very compassionate. He's not attracted by the glamour of this world. One time, Srila Prabhupada was in America, and devotees, they had arranged a huge program. It was a very, very successful program, and they were very happy. Devotees were very happy that it was a good program, well attended. So all the devotees, they were coming with Prabhupada in the car, and Prabhupada was looking out of the window. And one of the devotees, he saw that Prabhupada had tears in his eyes. So the devotees became alarmed. Oh, what happened? Everything went good. Why is Prabhupada crying? So the devotees, they could not speak anything, but somehow one devotee asked Prabhupada, is there any problem? Prabhupada said, he was looking at the skyscraper buildings of America. He said, we should save them. Generally, when somebody wants to go to America, now nobody wants to go to America, but because of this corona thing. But people generally, they want to go to the Western countries, Western world, because they think Western world means opulence, all sorts of enjoyment available. Prabhupada, when he went to America, he says in this Markine Bhagavat Dharma prayer, this is Ugrasthana. Why you have brought me here, O Krishna? I think you have some job for me. There is some work you have allotted for me here. That's why you have brought me here. Oh my Lord, please make me dance. That is the vision of a pure devotee. He is suffering seeing the condition of people of this world. Therefore, Vyasdev, he felt compassionate for when he saw the sufferings of people of Kali Yuga. And therefore, he wrote all the Vedas, all the Puranas, Mahabharata, everything he wrote. But the problem is, even after writing everything, still Vyasdev was not satisfied. Evam pravrittasya sada bhutanam shreyasi dvijaha sarvatmakenapi sada natripyat hridayam tatah. Evam pravrittasya. He was strictly following the rules and regulations of the scriptures. He was following strict vows. He was just doing for the welfare of people in general. Still, na tushyat hridayam, still his heart was not satisfied. Vyasdev started contemplating, why I am not satisfied? I have done everything according to scriptures. I have followed all the rules and regulations of the scriptures. I have followed all the strict vows. I have not fallen from my disciplinary duties. Still, I am not satisfied. Why? He started contemplating. From his contemplation, Vyasadev, he came to this conclusion. Kim va bhagavata dharma na prayena nirupita priya paramahamsanam ta eva hi achyuta priyah. Kim va, is it that bhagavata dharma, I have na prayen, pray means I have not elaborately described this bhagavata dharma. This bhagavata dharma, devotional service, is it that because I have not described bhagavata dharma in detail, which is priya paramahamshanam, bhagavatam is and bhagavat katha is dear to devotees, and taeva hi achyuta priyah, and it is dear to Krishna himself. He is contemplating all this, As he is contemplating, his guru, Narad Muni, he comes. He diagnoses the cause of his despondency. So this starts the fifth chapter of this Bhagavatam. The fourth chapter ended with Narad Muni entering this place, the ashram of Vyasadeva. And then Narad Muni asks Vyasadeva. So Narad Muni is the guru of Vyasadeva. So Narad Muni tells Vyasadeva. So as Narad Muni enters, Vyasadeva, he offers all respects. He gives him a seat, a very high esteemed seat. He offers prayers and then he sits down in front of him. Narad Muni inquires, are you satisfied by identifying with the body and the mind as the topics of self-realization? Atma manasa evava. Are you satisfied? This is a sarcastic way of, Vyasadeva is asking, are you satisfied? Narad Muni is asking, are you satisfied with whatever you have done? Narad Muni says, oh Vyasadeva, your despondency is not because of lack of knowledge. You have all the knowledge available. And your despondency is not because of the lack of realized knowledge. So Vyasadeva had theoretical knowledge also, realized knowledge also. He had fully described Brahman. But still, Narad Muni said, then why are you despondent? Vyasadeva, he surrenders to Narad Muni. This is what a disciple is supposed to do when it comes in the front of his spiritual master. As Chaitanya Charitamrita says, when you don't know what to do, you should know what to do. When you don't know, I don't know what is happening in my life, you should know where to go. Just go to a spiritual master, teacher, and ask the basic questions of life, and then you'll get answer. Tadviddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Humble, submissive inquiries. So Vyasadeva, he surrenders. He says, yes, oh my spiritual master, whatever you have said is correct. I know everything, but still I am not happy. You know the cause of my dissatisfaction. You know everything. You are like the sun which is everywhere. You are like the air. Air is existing in every part of this creation. You are like the super soul. So he describes in so many ways he glorifies Narad Muni. And then he says, please tell me my defects. Narad Muni, he says, you have two defects, O Vyasdev. All your compilation, it is wonderful, but they have two defects. First, you have not glorified Krishna sufficiently. Insufficient glorification of Krishna is the cause of dissatisfaction in this world. And anybody, if he is not doing this, he will not be satisfied, however he may try. If we are not connecting ourselves to Krishna Katha, Bhagavat Katha, and Vaishnava Katha, we will never be satisfied. So therefore Narad Muni says, Bhavata anudita prayam bhagat yasho bhagavato malam yenaivaso natushyeta manyeta darshanam khilam. Narad Muni says, O Vyasdev, you have not glorified Bhagavat and Krishna, Bhagavat Katha, you have not glorified Krishna sufficiently. Any scripture which does not glorify Krishna, I consider that scripture to be Manyeta Darshanam Khilam. It is worthless. So there is no use of writing all such scriptures. Just imagine Narad Muni is giving solid chastisement to Vyasdev after writing all the Vedas, all the scriptures, Puranas, Ishopanishad, Upanishads, Mahabharata. He is not appreciating. Just imagine if you have written, those of you who have, experience of writing open book assignments in Bhakti Shastri, they understand. If after writing whole page of Bhakti Shastri, if the teacher says, "Arey, this is all useless, manyetat darshanam khilam," you have not given right answers. So then the person would be completely discouraged. Arey, kya? And we have written only one page or two pages. Vyasdev has written all the Vedas, all the scriptures, but still Narad Muni is saying all this is worthless. This is the first cause. First defect is insufficient glorification of Krishna. Second defect with which Narad Muni tells Vyasdev is, you have overemphasized the four Purusharthas. You have given more emphasis on Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. You have repeatedly glorified these four principles and you have not glorified Krishna sufficiently. Therefore, he says, even poetic works, if they are devoid of Krishna's glories, they are condemned. And then Vyasdev, Narad Muni speaks two very, very powerful and famous verses describing two categories of literatures. First category of literature is the material literature. That material literature which is not glorifying the glories of the Lord Krishna. It is a place of pilgrimage for the crows. But the literature which glorifies Krishna Katha, that is the place of pilgrimage for the swans. Tadavagavis, that is the next story. It says, Nayadvachas chitra padam harer yasho jagat pavitram pragranita karihichit tadvayasam tirtam ushanti manasaha nayatra hamsa niramantyo shikshayah. Narad Muni says, Nayadvachas chitra padam, materialistic literatures which are devoid of the glories of Lord Krishna. They are the pilgrimage place for the crows. Jagat Pavitram, Supreme Lord's glories, they can purify the whole world. If somebody is not glorifying Krishna and they are glorifying things of this world, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, that place is the place of pilgrimage for the crows. That is a garbage dump yard. Hamsas, they do not like to go even near them, that place. And then, what is the spiritual literature? Tadavaga visargo janataga viplavo yasmin prati shlokam abhaddhavatyapi namanyanantasya shonkitani yat shrinumanti gayanti grinanti sadhavaha. Narad Muni says, that literature which is divine, which is glorifying Krishna, Krishna Bhakti, Janatagha Viplavo, it can create a revolution in the hearts and the lives of impious people of this world. today's misdirected civilization can come back to the normal path by practicing and hearing Bhagavatam. Prabhupada went to London and the reporters, they were asking Prabhupada, Swamiji, why you have come here? Prabhupada said, you Britishers, you have looted India for 150 years. You brought so many of the crest and important treasures from India to London. You forgot to bring the best treasure of India, that is Bhagavad Gita. That is what I have come to give. I don't have come to take anything from you. That is the divine literature. Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, they can create revolution in the lives of people of this world. These are the spiritual literatures. Even though there may be apparent imperfections in these literatures, but they are far superior to those material literatures which have no apparent imperfections. Namani anantasya shonkitani yat shrinvanti gayanti grinanti sadhavah. And sadhus, they relish these katha, these literatures. They sing, they hear, they remember these transcendental literatures. Therefore, if anything, any material literature, if it is devoid of bhakti, it is useless. Even if somebody is practicing nishkam karma yoga, if it is devoid of bhakti, it is useless. Even if somebody is practicing jnana, if that jnana is devoid of bhakti, it is impersonal, it is useless. Only thing which is of use is practice of bhakti. The active ingredient of karma, jnana and ashtanga is bhakti. Naishkarmyam apyachyuta bhava varjitam nashobhate jnanamalam niranjanam kutah punah shashvat adabramishware nacharpitam karma yadapyakaranam. Naishkarmyam api. Naishkarma means if somebody does not have any material affinity, that knowledge which is without any tinge of bhakti, achyuta bhava varjita. Achyuta bhava means devoid of bhakti. Na shobhate, it does not look well. If it is devoid of bhakti, even if it is knowledge of self-realization, it is not very befitting. Then what to speak of, karma and jnana of this world? So therefore, Narad Muni describes that bhakti is the topmost thing. And then Narad Muni tells Vyasdev, oh Vyasdev, please glorify Bhagavatam, please describe Bhagavatam because you are qualified to describe Bhagavatam. Narad Muni describes the qualifications of Vyasdev. He says, oh Vyasdev, you are Mahabhaga, you are most fortunate, you are Amogha Drik, you have a perfect vision, you are Shuchi Shravah, you have a spotless fame, Satya Rataha, you are fixed in truthfulness, you are Dhrita Vrataha, you are having very strong determination. Therefore, what you should do? Urukramasya khilabandha muktaye samadhina samadhinanu smaratadvicheshtitam. He says, therefore, because you are Mahabhaga, most fortunate, you have a perfect vision, you are learned in all the scriptures, you are truthful, you are determined, therefore you can think of Lord's pastimes in trance. Please, Vyasdev, you describe this Bhagavatam for the liberation of everyone, because what you have done now, this is all condemned. Narad Muni is giving all heavy abusive words to Vyasdev. Jugupsitam is condemned. All these Vedas, whatever you written is condemned. Heavy. Jugupsitam dharma kritenu shashataha swabhavaraktasya mahan vyatikram. Narad Muni is telling to Vyasdev, whatever you have written, it is condemned. You have done a great transgression. People, they are already attracted towards sense gratification, and you have given them a bona fide way of sense gratification in this world. What is the use? It is all useless. And then Narad Muni describes the progress of bhakti. He says that bhakti is so very powerful, it is credited forever. And the famous verses come here. Beautiful verses are spoken by Narad Muni describing the glories of bhakti. Narad Muni says, if people of this world, they are not able to follow their varnashram duties and they start practicing bhakti, even if they are not able to follow the path of bhakti properly, there is no loss. On the other hand, if somebody is practicing their occupational duties very nicely, but they are not practicing bhakti, what is the use? त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं चरणाम्बुजं हरेर्भजन् अपक्वो अथ पतेत् ततो यदि यत्र क्व वा भद्रमभूदमुष्य किं को वार्थ आप्तम् अभजतां स्वधर्मतः त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं. If somebody has given up his occupational duties, charanambujam harer bhajan, what is he doing? He is doing devotional service unto the lotus feet of Lord Hari. But what is he? Apakwa, pakawa nahi hai. He kacha hai, he's still immature devotee. As a result, what happens? Bhajan apakwo athapate tato. Yadi he falls down, he cannot follow the rules and regulations of bhakti. Narad Muni says, what is the loss? Bhakti is eternal. Neha vikramana shosti pratyavayana vidyate. There is no loss. There is no diminution in this path, O Arjuna. But on the other hand, if yatra kova abhadram, what is the loss? But if somebody is doing these occupational duties properly, he is not becoming devotee, what is the gain? Therefore, on Vyasadeva, one should endeavor for that thing which is not available in these 14 planetary systems. Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovido na labhyate yat bhramatam uparyadah. Na labhyate. One should endeavor for that gain which is not available in Brahmatam. After traveling to all the 14 planetary systems, we should endeavor to get that which is not available in these 14 planetary systems. What you should endeavor for? Tallabhyate dukkhavat anyata sukham kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. Because he says, why one should not endeavor? First he says, because the sense enjoyment which is available in these planetary systems, they are attained automatically. One should not endeavor for them. In one of the verses in the 5th canto, it is described that the happiness and sense gratification of this world is available in all the species of life. Narakasthopi deham vai napumam stektamicchati. Even in the hellish conditions of life, people get pleasure. People are not ready to give up that pleasure also. Therefore, one should not endeavor for that. It is available for everyone without any endeavor. क्यों इतना tension ले रहे हो? That is what Narad Muni is telling to Vyasadeva. Therefore, you should endeavor for bhakti because the results of bhakti are permanent. Navai jano jatu kathanchana brajen mukunda sevyanyavad anga samsritim smarana mukundang reupaguhanam punah vihatumicchen narasagraho janah. Narad Muni is telling the process of bhakti is so very powerful. Even if somebody falls down, even if somebody is not able to keep up to the principles of bhakti and he falls down, still he will not be able to give up this process of bhakti. Why he will not be able to give up? Smarana mukundang reupaguhanam punha. Because again and again he'll remember the ecstasies he relished when he was practicing bhakti. And that is a practical experience. Even if the mind takes us to a ride, chalo thoda ghum ke aate hain, kitna bhakti, enough of the bhakti. We should see things of this world also. Try to enjoy also this world. And then when we become satisfied, saturated, then we should do bhakti. You just try. People generally devotees, they say, Prabhuji, जो सुनते हैं ना क्लास में याद नहीं रहता है. Yeah, that is true. But you try doing some sense gratification. All the lectures which we have heard in all the classes, everything will go on in the ears with amplified voice. You should not do sense gratification. नालायक कितना सुना है, ये नहीं करना चाहिए, फिर भी कर रहा है. प्रभु जी ने बताया था क्लास में, gone to so many of the holy places, heard so many of the Krishna Katha. You have attended so many of the yatras. You have experienced such pleasure, highest pleasure. What pleasure you are experiencing now? It is abominable. Smarana mukundang ryupaguhanam punaha. He will remember that ecstasy again and again. And then what will be the result? Vihatamichen narasagraho jana. He will not be able to give up the taste of bhakti. That is how Krishna Katha is. Kaviraj Goswami describes very beautifully in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna kohe ama bhaje mage vishay sukh, amrit chadi vishay mage ei bada murkh. Krishna is saying, "Arey, this person mera bhajan kar raha hai. What is asking? Sense gratification. Oh, he is a very foolish person. Ami bigyai murkha vishay ke na diva, swacharnamrit diya vishay bhulaiba." Oh, he is foolish, but I am intelligent. I will not give him sense gratification. I'll give him the taste of my lotus feet. I'll give him taste of bhakti. He'll forget all sense gratification. That is the power of Krishna Katha. That is the power of bhakti. A devotee who has tasted even a drop of this will never be able to leave it, even if he wants to. That's why Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Instruction. Krishna consciousness is so wonderful that one will be forcibly dragged to success. Even if we don't want, nahi banna hai mere ko pure devotee, but still, Krishna will tell banna hi padega. If once you have entered Krishna consciousness, ISKCON mein to pure devotee product hi bahar niklega. So that is the proposal of Krishna. That is what Krishna consciousness gives us. So that is what Narad Muni is telling to Vyasadeva. Then Narad Muni tells to Vyasadeva, "Oh Vyasadeva, Lord is himself this whole universe. You know everything. But still, I'll give you some token instructions. Vyasadeva knows everything. He knows how Lord creates this world, maintains this world, destroys this world. But still, Narad Muni gives us some token instructions. Why? To set the system of parampara. Because in future, nobody should say, "Arey, Vyasadeva ko koi guru nahi tha." Vyasadeva also had a guru, Narad Muni. And just to set up the system of parampara, Narad Muni gave some token instructions to Vyasadeva. He said how Lord Krishna is the creator, maintainer, and the destroyer of this entire universe. And then Narad Muni told in just 2-3 verses. And then he says, "Oh Vyasadeva, I have given you the synopsis. Now you elaborate on this." So therefore, they says that the goal of all the scriptures is to glorify the Supreme Lord. Whatever you do in this world, the aim of everything should be to glorify Lord. This verse, which was spoken now by Narad Muni, this can be made our lives, mission statement. Idam hi pumsah tapasah shrutasya va shrishtasya suktasya cha buddhi dattayoh avichyuto artha kavibhir nirupito yaduttama shloka gunanuvarnanam. So Narad Muni is telling to Vyasadeva, "Oh Vyasadeva, people who are learned, kavibhi means those who are learned people, they have concluded that the infallible purpose of all the tapasya means all the austerity, shrutasya, all the Vedic hymns, shvishtasya, the study of the Vedas, suktasya, chanting of the hymns, then learning all the Vedas by intelligence, giving charity, everything culminates in the transcendental description of the Supreme Lord. Yaduttama shloka gunanuvarnanam." So all our lives activities should be molded in such a way that we are able to do this one thing. Uttama shloka gunanuvarnanam. That should be the goal of all the activities which we are doing in Krishna consciousness. That's how, and we have to use our intelligence. How should I mold my life in such a way that I may be able to remember Krishna always? Because that is the goal, that is the essence of all the Vedas. Smartavya satatam Vishnu, vismartavyo na jatuch. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And then after describing this, Narad Muni says, "Oh Vyasdev, actually, in this world, what is the cause of bhakti? How one can get bhakti?" Because Narad Muni is describing bhakti and Bhagwan, and so Narad Muni then becomes inspired and he says, "Na, actually, nobody can get bhakti without getting mercy of devotees." And then Narad Muni gives his own example, how he became devotee because of the mercy of devotees. Then he started the description of his own life. So he says, Narad Muni says, in the last millennium, I was born as a son of a maid servant. But I was fortunate to get association of pure devotees called the Bhaktivedantas. So actually, Narad Muni is telling his past life. But in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni's past to past life is described. So Narad Muni was a son of a maid servant. How did he become the son of maid servant? It is described in the 7th canto. So Narad Muni was a Gandharva actually in the heavenly planets. And he was a Gandharva means he had a good voice, very beautiful, handsome, opulent. So naturally he was surrounded by women. He was intoxicated with liquor. One time, the Prajapatis, the controllers and in charge of the heavenly planets, they organized Sankirtan. And in the Sankirtan, you have to bring some good singer. That's how in our ISKCON we arrange Kirtan Milas, singers from all over the world, devotees from all over the world, they come and they glorify Krishna. So these Prajapatis, they invited this Gandharva and his name was Upabarahana. So he came surrounded by women and instead of glorifying Krishna, Prabhupada writes, he started singing Bollywood songs. Instead of singing bhajans, he started singing Bollywood songs. Prajapatis, they became so angry. They told him, they cursed him, "You are behaving like a Shudra, you become a Shudra." So as a result, he became the son of a maid servant. So now Narad Muni is such a humble person. He's telling how he got attracted by the ladies, how he fell down from the principles of religion, how he was cursed to become a Shudra. So the pure devotees of the Lord, they never feel shy and shame. They do everything for the welfare of people in general. Narad Muni is thinking, if by telling my story, if Vyasdev is getting benefited, I am ready to do it. I am not attached to my name, fame. Kya bolenge log, Prabhuji pehle aisa aisa kiye the. So if somebody is a great preacher, and who is Narad Muni? Narad Muni is a teacher of all the great devotees we know practically. Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, Vyasadev, everybody is a devotee, disciple of Narad Muni. So if somebody is at such high post, it is very difficult to tell that, I was such a fallen person. I had so many bad qualities. Narad Muni is not concerned about his character, his image. He is concerned about teaching people how they should practice bhakti. So then Narad Muni is saying that in my past life I was a son of a maid servant. And I had some very good qualities as a small boy. I was not attached to playing sports. I was a small child, but I was not attached to playing sports. I was a small child, but I was sense controlled. Danta, sense controlled. Dhrita kriyanakaha, I was not attached to sports. Anuvartini. Anuvartini means I was a sincere follower. Therefore, what I was doing, when these Bhaktivedantists, they came to the home, they stayed for 4 months of Chaturmas. In Chaturmas, that is a rainy season, the sages did not travel. So they stayed at the place of my mother. And my mother was serving them, giving them prasad, and I was assisting my mother. Then as I was assisting them, sometimes I would sit near them. I would hear Katha from them. I would serve them prasad, and with their permission, I would taste the remnants of the foodstuffs. Uchishtalepa nanamodito dvijay sakritsma bhunje tadapasta kilbishai evam pravrittasya vishuddha chetasas tadharma evatma ruchi prajayate. Narad Muni says, I tasted the remnants of their foodstuffs. I served them, and just by these things, all my sinful reactions were vanquished. I came to the stage of Ruchi, Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajan Kriya. He heard, and then he reached the stage of Ruchi. Then at the stage of Ruchi, what happened? Tatranvaham Krishna Katha Pragayatam. These devotees, they were singing Krishna Katha. Out of their mercy, they allowed me to sit near them. I heard Krishna Katha from them. Anugrahena Shrinavan Manohara. The quality of Krishna Katha is very, very dear and attractive to the mind. At present, our mind is attracted by things of this world, by the pleasures and the beauty of this world. But actually, nobody can satisfy the mind by the things and the beauties of this world. Prabhupada was with one young brahmachari at the airport, and he had joined just some time back. One beautiful lady passed by. This person started looking at this woman from this end to that end of the airport, and then he realized, oh, I am with Prabhupada. So then he became a little cautious, and he looked at Prabhupada to check if Prabhupada is looking at me or not. To his surprise, he found that Prabhupada was looking at him only. And then again Prabhupada said, beautiful, isn't she? He became all the more embarrassed. Then Prabhupada said, if material nature is so beautiful, how beautiful Krishna must be. So therefore, people, they are attracted to things of this world, but if we turn our mind to Krishna, then our mind will be completely satisfied. Then Narad Muni says, oh Vyasdev, as a small child, I had 6 qualities. This is very, very important to develop. As we are practicing sadhana bhakti, we have to develop these 6 qualities. He says, Tasya me anuraktasya prashritasya hatainashaha shraddhadanasya balasya dantasya anucharasya cha. Anurakta, I was attached to devotees. This is a primary qualification we should try to develop. We should try to develop attachment to devotees. Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite par, tomar shakati ache. Devotees have Krishna in their heart. They can give Krishna to us. Therefore, we have to become attached to devotees. Anurakta. Prashritasya. We have to become a humble follower. Hatainashaha. Free from sinful activities. Shraddhadanasya. We should have faith. In unflinching faith, we have to develop. Danta, we have to become sense controlled. Anuchara, we have to be a dedicated follower. Prabhupada writes in one of these purports, without being sense controlled, without being disciplined, and without being sense controlled, nobody can follow the instructions of spiritual master. And without doing so, one cannot go back to Godhead. So therefore, these are the qualities Narad Muni had. And because he was such a sincere, submissive disciple, he heard all the Krishna Katha, and he reached the stage of prema in just 4 months. Then after these 4 months, the sages, they bestowed their mercy all the while, and then they departed. And then Narad Muni said, by the influence of this knowledge, I could understand the influence of Supreme Creator, Lord Krishna. I could understand the influence of his material and spiritual energies. And then Narad Muni stopped. Then he said, oh Vyasdev. He did not continue his story further. So then Narad Muni, he taught personal mantra to Vyasdev. And he told Vyasdev that, now you please describe the glories of Krishna. You please glorify this Krishna Katha, because this Krishna Katha can mitigate the miseries of everyone. It can satisfy a ignorant person, and it can satisfy a knowledgeable person also. So therefore, please describe Krishna Katha. And with this 5th chapter ended. So we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. If there are some questions, you can ask. I think there are some questions. What is the difference between Gautam Buddha and Bhagavan Buddha? Okay. So Bhagavan Buddha, he came, he is the original Buddha which is described in the scriptures. He is the incarnation of Lord Krishna. That is described in the Dashavatar Stotra. That this Buddha, he appeared when he saw that the Brahmanas, they were killing animals rampantly, taking shelter of the scriptures. So he is the actual Gautam Buddha who was born in Bodh Gaya. Then after many thousand years, there was one king, prince, whose name was Siddhartha. This Siddhartha, he was born in Lumbini in Nepal. So, and the story which we hear about, the Siddhartha, which he was not kept in touch with anyone because there was a prediction about him. So that is not the Lord Gautam, that is not the avatar of Krishna. That is another king, another prince. So he became detached, seeing a person who was ill, who was diseased, he saw death. So he became renounced because there was already a prediction about him. So then he traveled from Lumbini to Gaya and he sat under the Bodhi tree, the place where Bhagwan Buddha had performed his tapasya. And then he became enlightened. That is called Gautam Buddha. So the Siddhartha became Gautam Buddha. He is not our Bhagwan Lord Buddha, like that. You talked about the avatars. Oh, it's the same question. The Gautam Buddha and Lord Buddha, I have already explained. What is the purpose of the Vedas as Bhakti is topmost? Why they are written in the first place? Yeah, very wonderful question. Because the example may be given. Everybody knows that drinking is not good. We should not drink liquor. But still, people who are attached to liquor, they will drink liquor. They don't care. They don't want anything else. Just like now in the Corona times. Now people have opened. The government has opened liquor shops. And the people, they are saying मरना तो है ही, हम लोग शराब पी के मरेंगे. कोरोना से मरने से अच्छा है शराब पी के मरो. So similarly, everybody is not on the level of practicing bhakti. Bhakti is the topmost, But people, they approach God at different levels. At the level of fear, oh, भगवान के पास नहीं जाएंगे तो punishment मिलेगा. At the level of reward, oh, if I go to God, I'll get this. At the level of duty, if I serve God, I have to serve God because Krishna is giving us so many things. Highest is level of love. That is bhakti. Uttama bhakti means anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma adyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktiruttama. We discussed in Nectar of Devotion great detail in this. Bhakti means devoid of any personal sense gratificatory desires. But not everybody is in a situation to practice bhakti. But Krishna is such a merciful Lord. He is not telling if you either you follow this or you are doomed. No. As opposed to some other religions which they say that if you are not following this path, you will go to hell for eternity. Our way is the only way. Krishna is not that type of God. He is a supreme inclusivist. He never gives, he does not want to give a chance to anyone to say that, oh, I could not follow this, so I cannot come to you. No. Okay, somehow or other come to me. So Vedas, what they tell? Vedas tell, okay, you worship the Devatas. You want something, go to Devatas. Then after going to Devatas, after serving them for a long, long time, this person will realize, I think there is somebody above him also, above the Devatas also. Then slowly he'll come to Krishna. That is how this shows the whole arrangement of the Vedic system shows the compassion and merciful nature of Krishna. Krishna is so merciful. He does not want to give up on any one of us. That is why Krishna has given these Vedas. Dharma, Artha, Kam and Moksha. What does this mean that when Krishna takes with him religion and knowledge? Yeah, because Krishna, when he appears in this world, Krishna is religion personified. And all the limbs of knowledge existing in this material world, they are connected to Krishna. So therefore, when Krishna disappears, naturally the religion and the knowledge which is attached to Krishna will be gone. But Krishna is not completely permanently taking this dharma and religion knowledge back, because Krishna is supremely concerned with for the welfare of everyone. So therefore, although he went back, but still he left Bhagavatam, which is himself, which is Krishna himself, Grantha. So that's why it is said that although Krishna took dharma and jnana, but actually it is for just for just as if to say that when the prime minister went, he came and he established the principles of religion, he established the rules and regulations in the country, and then he went back with all the ministers with whom he made the systems. So no, but he left back another group of people who will propagate and establish these principles which he had set. Similarly, Krishna, although he went back with his entourage, with dharma and jnana, but still he left himself in the form of Bhagavatam. What if someone asks for material desires from Krishna? Does that deter someone from the path of pure devotion, as it is still a material desire? Yes, it may deter, but we cannot artificially jump to become a pure devotee. We cannot give up all our material desires immediately. If we try to do, we'll become frustrated. It is like entering in the fire without having a fiery body. So therefore, we have to practice bhakti at our level. And there is an advantage of asking something from devatas and asking something from Krishna. Same material benefits. If we can ask from devatas and from Krishna also, but there is a difference. When we go to Krishna, Krishna gives that desire, fulfills the desires, but he fulfills in such a way that the devotee will not ask for the same thing again. And the famous example is Dhruva Maharaj. What did he say? Sthana bhilashe tapasi stitoham tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam kacham vichinvannapi divyaratnam swamin kritarthosmi varam na yache. So स्थान की अभिलाषा से आपकी तपस्या की. Dhruva, when he saw Supreme Lord in front of him, he says, "Oh my Lord, please forgive me. I did tapasya with the desire to attain the destination greater than my great grandfather Brahma. After I got your darshan, I realized what I was looking for was the broken pieces of glass, and what you have given me is diamond. I do not want anything, oh my Lord." But Krishna did not, say that, okay, then be satisfied with your devotional service. No, actually, Krishna gave. Krishna gave actually Dhruva Maharaj Dhruvaloka, which is the highest planet in this creation. So therefore, if somebody goes to Krishna, he will get whatever he wants, but he will be purified of the desires, like that. That's the difference. So we cannot artificially practice bhakti at a pure level. We have to gradually, organically, we have to grow organically, slowly, slow and steady at our level. As Chaitanya Charitamrita says, what is this? This is what is Varnashram. Varnashram means from our place, at our pace, we have to join the race. That is a very beautiful definition of Varnashram. From our place, wherever we are, whatever our conditionings are, at our pace, at whatever speed we want to run, we have to run towards Krishna. If we have the material desires, no problem. Run towards Krishna. Slowly the material desires will go away. So this Sarga, Visarga and Poshan, it will come in the third canto in more detail. Sarga means primary creation. Visarga means secondary creation. And Poshan means how Lord maintains his devotees. So primary creation means that happens in the beginning of this universe. When Mahavishnu, he wants to create. So then all the material nature, it is in the form of a conglomerate called Pradhan. And Pradhan becomes Mahat Tattva. Lord glances on it, it becomes little agitated, and then the living entities are put in this. Then the Kal and Karma and Jiva, because of the action of these three, this is a little complicated. We'll discuss more about this on the second canto. But in short, I am telling that when Supreme Lord glances on this Mahat Tattva, then there are transformations. Then false ego generates. False ego under the three modes becomes transformed into the senses, the sense objects, and the sense devatas. And then the living entities, they are ready to get a body. This is called Sarga. Then what is Visarga? Visarga is the secondary creation which is done by Brahmaji. So when Brahmaji, what it does, Brahmaji takes these ingredients and he makes this entire universe, 14 planetary systems. And then he creates 84 lakh species of life. That is the secondary creation. So the example to understand this is just like, in our kitchen go down, all the sabjis are brought and they are put at one place. That is called pradhan. And then slowly the things are segregated. They are put in a separate go down where dudi at one place, bhopla at one place, bhindi at one place, and all the spices are other place. That is Mahatattva. Then from that Mahatattva, the cook takes out the ingredients and then, takes separate things, thoda dhania, thoda pudina, all the spices and the sabji and all that. And then the head chef comes, then starts cooking. That is called Visarga, And then Poshan means how Lord takes care of the devotees. That comes primarily in the 6th canto of Bhagavatam, by telling the story of Ajamila, by telling the story of Chitraketu Maharaj, by telling the story of Indra. Why not only Bhakti is glorified in the Vedas? The reason you gave is clear, and it's same reason for describing various paths. Yes. So that's why Bhakti is glorified in the Vedas. Not only Bhakti, because everybody is not on the same level. Everybody is at a different level. It's the same reason Krishna has given various yoga paths, as we discussed in Bhagavad Gita also. Not everybody is qualified to practice Bhakti Yoga. Some people can, they want to practice Karma, then slowly they become purified, they practice Jnana, then Ashtanga, and then Bhakti. So therefore, these are the various stages of practicing Bhakti. Bhakti is the highest. And Narad Muni, by his own story, will be describing in more detail the supremacy of Bhakti in these 6 chapters from 4 to 6. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.